Hi, I'm Rodney Bartlett with Reached, and we're at PubCon in Vegas 2007, and we just sat in on Matt Cutts on the hot seat. So we're talking with Matt Cutts from Google, and I guess maybe if you wouldn't mind, for people that don't know you, just introduce yourself, tell us what you do.
Absolutely. My name is Matt Cutts. I'm the head of web spam at Google, and web spam is a group within Google of search quality. So in general, we get complaints about searches, we try to fix them and try to make sure that they work better. We look at new algorithms. So my specific job is when people try to cheat, we find ways to make that stop and make it work in scalable and robust ways. But we get up in the morning and think about how can we deliver better search results every day.
Cool. So you talked last night a little bit about WordPress. You mentioned, if you're using WordPress, they're doing all the great stuff for you on your site for SEO. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the things that WordPress does?
Totally. So WordPress is a blogging software package, weblog, so people who want to keep an online diary or talk about any topic that they want to. WordPress is open source, which is a really nice feature because you can download it for free, you can install it on your own server, and then you can find a ton of plugins. Since it's open source, people love to hack on it. The greatest thing is the latest version of WordPress that just came out recently is WordPress 2.3. And what that does is it pays attention to, sometimes if you write a blog, you end up with the same blog post in 3 or 4 different places. P equals and a post number, or a permalink here. And WordPress 2.3 tries to take all of that and put all the posts in one spot. And what that means is they're doing all the work, and for free, you're getting software that's made to do SEO pretty well.
So it's like deals with the duplicate content issue, and
as much as you can. There's always the case where you can say, okay, here's the content for October, and then here's the content for October 20th. And so you can, in theory, still have an entry in different places, but it's still much, much better than it was before.
Cool. And one of the things that we hear a lot is, and we try to teach people in our courses, that content is king. Provide relevant content to your users. Don't write for the search engines, but write for the people who you're doing business with. So that's kind of what we try to teach. What's kind of the next big this is the other big SEO tip that you would throw out there?
Excellent. Yeah, good question. So one of the things I would definitely recommend is think about what a user is going to type. A lot of people, if you're in a medical area, you know what the right word is. But suppose you're going to target USB thumb drives, right? Some people are going to type flash drive. Some people are going to type thumb drive. Some people are going to type USB drive. And you need to have all of those words on the page so that the search engine knows that's what it's about. So I think that's one really big thing. Another thing is, make sure that you offer some useful service. We had somebody that was doing a language translation site, and they were wondering, why don't I rank #1? And so I checked out their site, and it was literally just like a brochure, like 5 pages, contact us, about us, this is what we do. And I looked at who the #1 site was, and the #1 site was talking about Japanese to English translation, and it had a little mini tutorial. Here's how you can write your name in Japanese, what's the difference between katakana and hiragana, and all these really neat facts. And so there was a compelling resource there. There was a reason why people would come back to it and talk about it. And it wasn't just, here's our company, here's what we can do for you.
Thanks, that was good. So small business owners, they're totally new to this. They're not sure what a title tag is or meta tag, so all this stuff seems overwhelming. What would your advice be to kind of jump into this SEO, search engine optimization world?
Yeah, it can be confusing, it can be a little scary, but don't be scared. I mean, the more time you spend on it, the better you get. And I've seen that happen with AdWords. People who buy AdWords the first day, they'll make mistakes, that's a natural thing. But the more time you put in on it, the better and better you get. And it's the exact same way with SEO. So, for example, there's all these free resources out there. There's good forums where you can find out more information. You can also use Google Webmaster Central, which is at google.com/webmasters. And what you can do is you can register to prove that you own a site, and then we'll give you all kinds of stats. The queries you're showing up for, the clicks that people are doing. You can test out your robots.txt, which is like a no trespassing electronic sign. And some people accidentally forbid every search engine from visiting their site. And then they get angry and say, well, why didn't you crawl and index me? And so we have these sort of tools and checkers to help with that. And Google has a lot of free resources. We have what's known as the Local Business Center, where if you have a brick and mortar business, suppose you're a florist and you're on, one corner of a hometown, you can tell us your address and show up for free in Google Local and Google Maps. And that's, you don't have to pay for inclusion, there's no recurring charge. That just helps us because we can return better search results. And it helps you, the small town business owner, because you can be found by people who are searching for your business.
Could you talk to us about that Google Maps thing, especially for the search results? So sometimes the map shows at the top with the top 3, and then there's the regular search results. And how do those two worlds mix? Do they mix and all that?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, sometimes you'll see somebody do a search and you just know it's navigational. You know, they're looking for Bob's Florist, you know, in Moorhead, Kentucky or something like that. And that's where you really want like a business listing and hopefully a map to sort of give you some context. And then if somebody's just doing a search like Best Florist, well, then they weren't necessarily looking for somebody who had a business name of Best Florist or something like that. So we have very interesting algorithms where we try to predict, are they looking for a specific name of a business, or are they looking for a local business and maybe they don't know the name, or are they just sort of doing background research right now? And people can't change those algorithms. That's sort of Google's prerogative to tweak things to be more relevant, but you can register, make sure that you have your business name and your address on your web page. All those sort of things just really help.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Just a question too here about the webmaster tools that you mentioned. We try to encourage people to set that up, and the sitemap especially. Could you talk about the importance of a sitemap and what that does?
Yeah, so a sitemap can tell Google, hey, these are the URLs that are important to me. You can even set a priority in your sitemap file. But most importantly, when you're first starting out, you might not have a lot of links. And so we might not crawl your site very deeply. And so if you have that sitemap, you're at least telling Google, hey, I've got 20 pages and these are what the URLs are. Now, it's not a guarantee. We don't say, if you give us these sitemaps, we promise we'll crawl these pages. And you can immediately see where a bad guy would like make 1,000 domains and he'd submit sitemaps for each domain. So we can't guarantee it. But we do try to say, you know, let's see how many pages we can get from this domain. So it absolutely cannot hurt your site to do. It can only help, and hopefully help more and more over time.
I know this isn't maybe your area, but Google Base.
Yeah.
We work a lot with real estate agents, and in Canada, you know, Google Base doesn't show on the search results, but in the States it does. Is there plans for any change there, or do you know?
That's a good question. We always look at what's good for the users. So if we didn't have enough data for Canada, or we didn't have enough feeds that are relevant to Canada, then we might not be as likely to show it. But over time, I would hope that more and more people are using Google Base, because that's another free tool where you can submit data and sometimes it'll show up. So I think personally it would be really nice. As far as what exactly the future holds, even I don't know. So.
Great. Just a question here about video. So we're kind of new to this whole video world.
Yeah, you're doing it very well.
Yeah, we've got some good gear. It's fun. We had a good time last night at your guys' party, running around, video and everybody. But anyway, indexing video. Should we post video on YouTube? Should we post it on Google Video? Where should it go? And how do we make sure that it gets found, I guess?
Yeah, totally. So here's a few tips. If it's less than 10 minutes, YouTube, you can put it up, no problem at all. If it's more than 10 minutes, if it's like an hour-long interview, Google Video, you can do longer form video. If you can, it really makes a big difference if you can get a transcript. And I've even seen some people who will take the video, they'll ship off the file to, you know, you can ship it to India or something like that, and you can say, I'll pay, you know, 2 cents per word or whatever, and they'll transcribe it for you. Because search engines still have a problem indexing, you know, spoken stuff and things in video, audio, stuff like that. So if you have a transcript, or you can do good meta tags, or think about what people are going to type, so video, SEO, Matt Cutts, interview, Webmaster World, and then put that into the description, and make sure that there's some meta tags or some tags there, because we do search over those for the video search.
Okay, cool. I guess one last question about indexing, and when we teach people, we try to talk to them about in your navigation, you know, having maybe CSS or using bulleted lists so that your navigation throughout your site is really crawlable, as opposed to Flash or JavaScript. Could you kind of comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. In general, if you sort of take like an old version of Netscape, like Netscape 4, or there's even text browsers, so like Lynx is a good one, and you look at your website in that, that's almost what your website looks like to a bot. And so if you've got Flash or if you've got JavaScript, it can be kind of hard to interpret all of that and to find the links. Now, I personally, I'm a little biased because I work at Google, but personally, I think Google does a very good job of pulling those sort of links out of JavaScript and stuff. But you got to think about every search engine, because, you know, what if 5 years from now, Gigablast or Exalead or Turbo10 or all these other search engines are popular, and every search engine has to do extra work to be able to crawl that JavaScript, crawl that Flash. So the easier you can make it for any search engine, the more simple, that just makes it that much more likely that you'll be crawled. So the advice that we give is, if you've got a page, have Flash as the decoration, you can have lots of good Flash that's interesting, but have the navigation be in HTML, and that way the bots can crawl everywhere.
Cool.
Good deal.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your time. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Sure.